everyone, and welcome back. While the AWSCO Windows Cup Series takes their tour overseas to showcase stock car racing in some of the world's finest ovals, the AWSCO Continental Series is taking their tour off here to one of the cultural capitals of the United States, home to one of the most inexplicably large pyramids this side of the world, and also a global cargo hub and home to hundreds of FedEx cargo planes, as we're here in Memphis for the FedEx 250. It'll be 250 laps around this 3/4 of a mile short oval, and this track will effectively be the end of our short track stretch here that started all the way back, I want to say, at Saint-Eustache in Quebec. We've been around quite a few places now, all over North America, I would say. And now we're ending it here in Tennessee. I'm joined once again by Ellie in the pre-race, in the studio for the pre-race show. We had a very, very good short track race last time around at Five Flags. Very, I want to say, late model style short track racing with that kind of long, patient running. I would say lots of how do I say this? Lots of patience and long run kind of style short track racing we had last time around at Five Flags. Passing was difficult, so track position was very important at that race. But the way the drivers conducted themselves in that race, I think, was pretty spectacular. I think. What are your expectations heading into this race?
Well, I mean, yeah, to talk about Five Flags real quick, that was a really great race. I was really impressed with the driving there, and I'm hoping to see some of the same from the drivers on this track. My expectations going in is I think it's going to be an interesting race, given our Fast 10 looks a little, it's kind of shaken up. I mean, obviously, LaTonya Gray being up there isn't too surprising, but I'm excited to see the drivers hit the road here.
Yeah, I mean, we've been to short tracks of all shapes and sizes. I think, kind of on the run up to this one in particular. I mean, if you look at some of the tracks that we've been to, Saint-Eustache was as flat as you can get. I think that was basically an oval shaped road course. And then you come to other racetracks, tracks like Aguas Calientes, which is an entirely kind of different kind of short track with relatively high banking but high tire wear. So even though all of these tracks that we've been to can all be classified as being under a mile long, they all have their own different driving characteristics to it that make each one of these races their own thing. And you look at this track here, Memphis International Raceway, and it is fairly flat with decent banking. I think it's 11 degrees on the turn, so fairly flat, but not as flat as some of the tracks that we've been to, I should say. And this track does have pretty good history in stock car racing. We've seen the NASCAR when it was the Busch Series here running many times, of course. Some of those races were pretty chaotic from what I remember. I believe, at least until recently, the record for the most number of cautions in a race in that series was held was at an event at this track around in the 2000s, I should say, I think. So this track does have the potential to cause some kind of beat and banging kind of racing, where you expect cars to be making moves using the bumper and kind of getting turned here and there, I should say. Do you think that's something that these drivers are going to be worried about? We've seen those kind of races happen before in the Continental Series, but the last race we did was pretty clean, I would say. Cleaner than most of the races we've had this year. Do you think that's going to be something that's on these drivers' minds?
Yeah, I think it will be, and I mean, given it's on some of the racers' minds, I expect some of them to just go through with being aggressive because, I mean, some of the drivers here are just known to do that. But I mean, I still think we're gonna get some pretty decently clean racing out of Five Flags, like how we saw out of Five Flags.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping to see that kind of racing here. I think we might see some of it maybe more towards the later half, though. I think the first bit here might be a little tricky. I think they're gonna try and pace themselves, and they might get into some trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I think some drivers will inevitably get themselves into trouble. That seems to be unavoidable at short tracks, pretty much, with how little room there is around here. I don't know if we'll reach the kind of insanity that we saw in those old NASCAR in those Busch Series races. But yeah, I mean, how should I say this? If you look at the starting grid we have right now, you see that we do have one of our short track aces up there, Latanya Gray, in the 65, starting alongside the 46 of Bridget Brousseau, who took the pole position for Ponos Racing today. Ponos Racing have been quite strong in qualifying trim this year. We've seen Liz Roberts take a few poles as well. Just one win so far this season for all of those teams, and it wasn't Brousseau who took that win either, but it was that 46 car, and it was at a short track, I think. So at 46, this team has had some level of success here. Liz Roberts starting on the inside of row 4 as well. Good qualifying for both of those cars, inside the top 10 for both of them. So, you know, pretty standard stuff, I think, seeing those Ponos Racing cars up here. Race success has been a lot more mixed for them, but we're starting to see things, I think, their luck kind of turn around recently. So I believe Liz Roberts had a few good results heading into this race. So I would say that the 45 and 46 teams definitely are going to be ones to look out for. We saw Roberts get very close to a win at Evergreen, so I think this team definitely has something in their tank at these tracks.
Yeah, I think whatever strategy Liz Roberts has been on, she might be sharing it with Bridget Brousseau. Because, I mean, if my memory doesn't fail me, she's been pretty decent ever since I've been in the studio here. I've always seen her kind of up there, so especially on the short track. So I think the team's kind of locking in because it's getting closer to that playoff cutoff. You know, a lot of contention, a lot of competitiveness now. So I think they kind of had to lock down strategies. I am a little surprised to see Bridget that high, starting first, but I am not too surprised to see Liz Roberts in row 4. I think it'll be interesting to see everybody battle it out, though. I don't know how long everybody's going to stay in their positions. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Latanya Gray kind of fall back to the middle field for a good bit, try to fight between Liz Roberts and Bridget Brousseau. I don't know. I think this grid is just an interesting grid.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's quite, you know, it's the usual mix, I would say, of cars just kind of everywhere pretty much. But looking at those top 10 cars, Sakamoto Aya qualifying up there once again, qualifying on the outside. She's on the outside of row 2, starting 4th. If you want to talk about the cutoff line, that 11 car has been right there on the verge of getting into the playoffs, or either on the verge of getting in the playoffs, or just inside the playoffs. Right, for the last, I don't know how long. It's been so long. The 11 has basically always been there, I think, and that's a car that has in terms of race pace is kind of inconsistent, but sometimes she'll have top 10, even top 5 pace, sometimes not. But one of her best characteristics from this season is that she's been reliably qualifying pretty well, and sooner or later, I think that kind of thing will yield results, especially when you're racing at short tracks like this. He is starting on the outside, which is always a disadvantage, I'd say, at the short tracks, unless the inside line really messes up that line. But yeah, that 11 car sitting 16 points behind the cut line. with, let's see, those cars just outside, just ahead of her, the 12 of Jack Kennedy. She's starting on the inside of row 9. That would be 17th. Kate Summers starting 20th, a row behind. So those two cars are about 10 places behind already. Abby Buchanan took the last provisional, so she's starting all the way out back in 38th. And that's the first car in the that's in the playoffs right now.
Drivers, to your
So
car.
already pretty good start to things for the 11 team. But as we saw
Drivers,
in our
to your
previous
car.
race at Five Flags, that can flip on its head relatively quickly. We mentioned Aya having a good opportunity to do something from that race, and she kind of just existed the entire way. And the playoff battle kind of didn't really change much from her perspective because of that.
Yeah, honestly, I think the playoff battle and the outcome of that race wasn't the best outcome Takamona Aya could have hoped for. I think she could be a big car to watch out for with this race, given her performance last race. I think she might want to redeem that because she fell behind the cut line. I think that's going to drive her to have more, maybe not necessarily aggression, just more drive to win here, drive to stay within the top 5, something, the most laps, whatever she's going to try and do.
Yeah, I'd say more kind of a gutsy ability. I would say just to hold position and stay up front more. That's the thing we're looking for, I think.
Yeah.
From that 11 team. And on the flip side, you have a team like Abby Buchanan who's made a good job of just moving up the pack from wherever they started in seemingly every race they're in right now. I mean, that team was, they were running top 5 at one point in 5 laps before dropping back to the tail end of the lead lap, finishing 17th there, but still a very good pickup of points for that 59 team. They started 31st last time out. They're starting 38th now, as far back as you could possibly be. Karina Willis-Calloway's right there with her, just a row ahead. Those are two drivers that are that are pretty close on that playoff bubble, starting all the way out back. It's not shown to be a detriment to start at the back, really. We've seen plenty of drivers do that. Our most recent winner and current driver who's currently on a pretty insane hot streak, Zoe Quinton, started 23rd and won last time out. She's starting this time around. She's starting in 31st inside of row 16. One of our chase for the money drivers, alongside the 5 of Maya Shelby, 15 of Isabella Smith, 22 of Naomi Davenport, and 95 of Carl Reynolds. Those drivers will be going out in this race to see who could finish first and take home a nice cash prize, a good boost for their teams here on the line. All of them have been really good in the recent weeks. We know Shelby and Davenport have the chops to do really well at the short track. Quinton's been really good in recent weeks as well. Carl Reynolds is always consistent, no matter what track you put her in. And Isabella Smith is one of those drivers that's quickly turning around her season right now with 2 top 5s in fairly short notice. One at Michigan and one just recent in our last race at Five Flags. Who are you looking at amidst those drivers? Who do you think has the best shot of taking home that cash prize at the end?
Well, first I want to start with these drivers in general. I think their starting position isn't going to matter, and we're going to see them all the way up into the top 10 and top 5 as we always do. I would not be surprised if any of them are up there whatsoever. But I think it's going to be Naomi Davenport. I like how she's raced the entire season. Besides, there was a good little chunk of like a few races where she wasn't doing too hot, and I think that was kind of just a reassessment of where her strategy was at and what she was locked down to. And I think we finally saw her recover the previous race, and she's right where the rest of the crowd is. That performed really well in that race, I would say. So I think it's going to be her specifically, but I think it's going to be a really close battle between all of these drivers right here. I think the drivers who have the best shot, if I wasn't just picking one of them, would be Maya Shelby, Zoe Quinton, and Kyra Reynolds. Those would be her three top contenders, I would say.
Yeah, Reynolds has been running very well in these last few races, but she struggled with finishing them in the last month or so. Lots of DNFs in that recent stretch, but she's made up ground recently, of course, with that top 5 finish at 5 Flags, earning her a spot here to win this cash prize. So, with that out of the way, I agree with your assessment pretty much, outside of maybe Maya Shelby, who's been out and out, I think, the best driver aside from maybe Davenport in this kind of stretch of races that we're looking at. Those two have been kind of trading blows, but the 5 team has been excellent in getting top 5 from pretty much anywhere in these last few weeks. So I think that's one team that absolutely nobody can underestimate in this race, I think. And with that, I think it's a good time to wrap up our pre-race activities here. We'll be throwing it over to the booth now. Echo and Caleb Rose will be taking over the reins for that. We'll see you around in the mid-race for the mid-race report back from the studio. All right, booth, Echo, Caleb, do we have you here?
You sure do have me. Welcome to the Memphis Motorsports Park in Millington, Tennessee, with
Drivers, to your cars.
in Millington, Tennessee, with the running of the FedEx 250. I'm joined by Caleb Rose. Caleb, this is the third time you've been in the booth for a Continental race. You were here for Nashville, and then you were here for Delaware. You think this race is going to be more similar to Nashville or Delaware?
Honestly, not sure really what to expect here from Memphis. It's definitely a very interesting racetrack. Not really sure what you can really expect out of a track like this, but it's definitely going to be really interesting to see how this race will play out. Honestly, I think it'll honestly maybe play a little bit more like Delaware. This track definitely shorter in length. It's not as short as a track like Bristol Motor Speedway per se, but it definitely shares some characteristics in a way kind of similar to a track like Richmond or Martinsville, but definitely expecting a very interesting race here tonight, and I'm excited to see how it'll play out.
Yeah, and another thing that's going to be interesting to discuss is the chase for the money drivers. 5 drivers competing for a cash prize. They're all starting towards the back. First finisher of those 5 gets the prize. Do you think it's going to be tough for them to get up back from the back to the front of the field, or do you think they won't have very much trouble doing that?
Honestly, I don't think it will be an easy process, but I definitely think it will be a doable process at a track such as this and at a race with this long of duration. So, while it definitely might be a little bit troublesome to maybe drive from the back to the front, I definitely think it could be possible. And honestly, I would not be surprised if we see a lot of drivers back there maybe make their way towards the front as this race goes along, especially potentially if it gets maybe a bit chaotic.
Well, let's go through the starting grid here. Row 1, it's Bridget Brousseau sitting on the pole position in that Panos Racing Chevrolet. Alongside her is the 65, LaTanya Gray. Row 2, the 55, Deborah Williams, and the 11, Takamoto Aya. Row 3, it's the 54 of Brenda Davis and the 16 of Leah Azelhart. Row 4, is the 45, Liz Roberts, and the 14 of Katrin Edelstein. Row 5, the 04 of Emily Tremblay-Vaudrey, and the 88 of Madison Estrada. Row 6 is the 77 Rose Lockport and the 64 of Mayumi Moriyama. Row 7 is the 81 of Alice Hageman and the 31 of Laurie Ramirez. Row 8, the 38 of Isabella Fitzmaurice and the 2 of Rachel Ramos. Row 9 is the 12 of Jackie Kennedy and the 7 of Reina Munoz. Row 10, the 93 Izzy Oberman and the 8 of Kate Summers. Row 11, the 60 of Jennifer Wilson and the 51 Sandy Martel. Row 12, the 66 of Ani Starchev and the 10 of Charlie McCarron. Row 13, the 5 Maya Shelby and the 0 of Hieda Yoko. Shelby one of those 5 in the chase for the money. Row 14, the 26, Robin Morales, and the 15 of Isabella Smith, another one of those drivers. Row 15 is the 22 of Naomi Davenport, another competitor, and the 6 of Mila Chestina. Row 16 is the 82 Zoe Quinton, another competitor in the chase for the money, and the 25 of Kathy Ableton Perez. Row 17, the 42 of Freya von Lundquist, and the 95 of Cara Reynolds, the last competitor of the chase for the money drivers. Row 18, the 62 of Vinnie Schultz, and the 99 Corinna Willis-Callaway. And row 19, the 40 of Lara Sundale, and the 59 of Abby Buchanan. So, again, you've got your two drivers starting at the back, but Cara Reynolds, she ran really well last week. Came very close to winning the race. Obviously, wasn't able to get it completed. But do you think that's going to be some good momentum for her going into this race as she's still trying to get that win to lock into the playoffs?
I definitely think so. Cara has had a very fantastic season so far here, and I honestly kind of think that short track so far have proved to kind of be her strong suit. So I think she'll definitely have a good race today if you know fast car underneath her, and excited to see what she can do. Maybe have a shot at potentially going for that cash prize. We'll have to see.
Well, hopefully, they've improved that car from practice and qualifying, because she had to take that provisional back there along with Abby Buchanan, who took the very last provisional. Command's been given. I gotta reset because someone had a mech kill.
Drivers, to your cars.
And we're about to get underway from Memphis. Bridget Brousseau, who's run pretty well at these short tracks in the start of her career here. Finished 9th at Aguascalientes, finished 7th at Evergreen. And she ran decently well at Five Flags a week ago before being taken out at an incident. Pace car's off. Brousseau and Gray lead them to the green flag. Here we go. We're underway at Memphis. And Brousseau will lead the first lap here from Memphis Motorsports Park. 3 wide back here with Hageman, Estrada, and Lockport. That's a bit scary.
3 wide.
Yeah, they go 3 wide. They like to fan out here a lot. The thing here at this track, you cannot slip to the outside. And you're seeing that already with LaTanya Gray. She has slipped quite a bit of positions already. She's dropped from 2nd to 5th on the start of this race. She finally is able to drop in.
But cut the nose off the 11 there as they went through turns 1 and 2. Side lane already slipping back quite a bit. There's some cars up there kind of trapped on that outside lane way up the corner there.
Hazelhart.
16.
Hazelhart. Yeah. There's Izzy Oberman.
3 wide again.
They're 3 wide once more. Here comes Maya Sheldeby trying to push through. Now, Maya Sheldeby's had an incredible run of races so far. She's only made 6 starts. She has top 10 finishes in 5 of those 6 starts. So Maya Sheldeby has really been making a name for herself lately at the start of her AWSCO Continental Series career, and she could be one of those drivers that's in that discussion to be maybe even be in the Cup Series next year.
Oh, Reina Munoz back there kind of shoving somebody up the racetrack, almost into the wall. A 3 wide behind them as well, as honestly kind of a stack up probably occurring as a result of that. Starting to form a bit of a hornet's nest back here towards the back of the field. Pretty calm though up front, but so went a little bit
for
wide
now
there. At least for now, but Deborah Williams looking to try and close in here for the lead. Oh, that was a good run there into 1.
She might get her.
And off a 2.
Great pull off at turn 2. We'll see what Williams does into 3 and 4. Not going to be able to get there quite yet. Jennifer Wilson right here, fighting with Izzy Oberman. There's Maya Shelby already knocking on the door of the top 10. She started back in the 20s. So here we go. We got to move for the lead. Here comes Liz Roberts, the 45. Oh, LaTonya is almost in the wall with Brenda Davis behind those two. The Panos Racing teammates battling for the lead up here. We just had a very high action lap, but Liz Roberts has taken the lead now.
It's coming all the way from third there on that lap to take the lead. Fantastic stuff there. And yeah, now you got a 1-2 there. LaTonya Gray, though, that was a very LaTonya Gray-esque move. 54 might have even gotten into the outside wall a little bit.
I think she did.
Can't really tell right off, but might have. But
I think they're very lucky.
Some aggression here early on.
I think they're very lucky that that didn't result in anything bigger.
Yeah.
We're 10 laps in from Memphis. There's Shelby going by Tremblay-Vaudois for the spot in the top 10. So it's taken Shelby 10 laps to go from about 25th to 10th. So very impressive.
Very impressive drive so far for Shelby, and now already looking to try and make up some spots here inside of the top 10. Gonna look back through the field here. Abby
There's
Buchanan,
Davenport.
the 59's already on the move.
Yeah, Buchanan's moved up quite a bit as well. She's in 23rd. She started dead last, so
Oh,
some contact there. Oh, we got a caution.
that's not ideal.
There's an incident back there. Caution is out. Looks like it's Summers and Reynolds that have spun in the back of the field. And Karina Willis-Calloway is out of the race.
oh. Might have happened there.
That might have been related. We'll have to see. Well, everyone's coming down pit road. I'm not terribly surprised that everyone's coming down pit road. Tires wear out really quickly. Whoa, LaTonya Gray has a lot of damage from getting stacked up there. There must have been some sort of stack up on pit entry.
There's more beef between the 54 and the 65.
And LaTonya's out.
On the
LaTonya's
day.
done. Race off pit road. It is, I think it's the 45. I don't know where the scoring line is.
81's got a big buckle on the front end.
Yeah,
Some stack ups under the yellow here.
I believe so. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. I'm gonna check LaTonya first.
Oh. There's a crash coming onto pit road.
Oh, Kennedy. Well, that doesn't explain.
There was a car, I think, got into the tire bed.
Oh, it was the 14.
What in the world?
Where was the 12 going?
Oh, Kennedy.
Kennedy just pushed Edelstein out of the way. Okay. That got a lot of cars really confused. Okay, well, that would explain it. See if we can figure out what happens here between Summers and Reynolds. 3 wide exiting 4. Summers just doesn't give Reynolds enough room. Small spin, but doesn't look like anything. Where's the 99 come into the equation then?
Those are too badly damaged.
Oh, that's where she comes in. This is much further back. Oh, that thing just blew up.
Oh, that just blew up.
That's really tough for Karina because she's one of those drivers in that cut line discussion. Brosseau is going to be... Brosseau is the leader, so the scoring line is
first
actually...
line
is that first line. Okay.
Interesting.
So Karina Willis-Callaway came in only plus 19.
That's gonna be.
And
That's
Kennedy's
gonna be rough.
third, and Willis-Callaway is going to end up last. Ellie, what you got on Karina?
Yeah, it looks like the 99's engine blew due to a camshaft issue, so that'd take her out.
Unfortunate for Karina. We are getting the 1 to go signal. Latanya Gray is out of the race because of that incident. So I thought maybe Brenda Davis might have had something to do with that, but looks like it was nothing to do with it, and it just kind of happened that way. Looks like mostly everyone took 4 tires. I think there's... Are there any 2-tire stops? Nope, there's no 2-tire stops. Everyone took 4 tires. Doing many races at this track before, I know that a 10-lap tire difference is an immense amount here, because the tires wear out really, really quickly here. Having 10 laps on fresh tires is very big here. Pace cars off. Brosseau and Roberts lead Aponos Racing 1-2 to the green flag here in Memphis on the restart. Great jump by Brosseau on the restart there. Edelstein's still up here towards the top 10. She's actually just a little... She's just a tiny bit outside, and she doesn't have... They've taken the rear bumper off of that car.
Sure, a racetrack like this, you can definitely get away with things like that.
She's getting away with it.
14 is... Doesn't look like the 14's off the pace really much at all.
No, I don't think she is. I think she messed up the rear end. Oh, the 5 car. Shelby.
Oh, no.
Got a restart penalty, I believe. And that's going to send her well back. Move for the second spot. Williams tried diving it in there.
Not everybody, it's only lap 20. You're already getting physical out here at Memphis. 55 moves the 45 out of the way. We got a lot of stuff going on back here.
88 of Estrada, I believe, got a penalty as well.
Maybe. A couple cars might have got restart violations there. But
There's where Shelby just merged out.
it's no longer calm up here for the race lead. Or at least up here at the front of this field.
Well, Shelby now scored a lap down officially. So if there's a caution fairly soon, she can get the free pass to get back in the lead lap. Will that happen? Probably. I just don't know if it'll be soon or not. The 14 looks like she's holding pace pretty decently. I would, like, you know, for a damaged car, that car does not look too badly scuffed.
Pretty much just looks like they tore the rear bumper off, and while she might be struggling a little bit out there, as far as pace goes, yeah, it doesn't really look that far off at all.
I don't think, I think if anything, I don't think she has engine damage, so probably just a little bit of aero is messed up, and even then, at a track like this, you don't need a lot of aero.
Yeah. She's already trying to get some spots back up here.
Yeah. I mean, she's running 12th. She's running 12th. I think if she was off pace-wise, she would be slipping back, but she's holding with these cars towards the front. Ellie, you got word on Estrada?
Yeah, it doesn't look like any major damage was dealt to her car. She's gonna be running pretty fine.
Battle for second back here. Here comes Takamoto Aya. And Aya, you know, if you're, again, this is something that Karina's going to be watching. Aya's one of those cars fairly close to the cut line. She came in minus 16 to the cut line. And, you know, there's a couple other cars as Williams slides up the track. There's a couple other cars, you know, in this race that are up here close to that cut line. Kennedy's near the cut line came in minus 10, and Summers and the 8 cars came in minus 14. There's where Kate Summers is. She's in 25th right now. Summers and Reynolds are still right next to each other. And they're still battling each other.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
To the inside there of Kate Summers, and they're trying to do the best they can to recover from that accident. Both these cars don't really look much damaged at all, but still definitely set them back in terms of track position and a lot to gain. So we're trying to get that worked out at the moment. They're doing a pretty good job here so far.
Here's the chase for the money leader now with Shelby's penalty. Naomi Davenport has now taken the lead. Shelby's trying to close in on the 46 here. She's trying to get her lap back. And Takamoto Aya's caught both of them.
We probably don't know if she got serviced under pit lane, but if she did.
She did not, because she took it was 0.25, so she got she had a stop and go. She had a stop and go penalty. I assume for jumping the restart. Meanwhile, Williams is slipping badly. Martell drives it deep on Von Lundquist there. Williams is slipping badly. She can't get to the bottom. And she still will not be able to get to the bottom.
Dive bombs.
And Davenport's going to enter the top 10 now. Here comes Aya getting underneath the 5 of Shelby.
Definitely looks like they got a fast car and looking to try and close in.
Honestly, Racing.
Shelby is still fast as well. If we can get a caution, that 5 car might have race-winning speed as well, but...
Panos Racing is...
Oh,
wow.
Almost there.
Panos Racing is cooking something up, because the 46 and 45 are both very fast. It is still early, but both of these cars do look very strong. Fastest lap right, NordVPN fastest lap right now actually belongs to Liz Roberts. How about Vinnie Schultz? She's up into 5th spot. She started a decent ways back in the field, and she's moved up quite a bit. Izzy Oberman is up here as well. She's in 7th now. You got all over the place back here. Williams is...
No.
Williams is dooring the 14. The 22 just got the wall. They're almost 4 wide.
Goodness gracious.
I don't know what we're doing back here, but it's not good. They are going to go 4 wide.
They're going to go 4 wide. Oh, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work.
It somehow worked.
Somehow.
I don't know how they lived. Oh, the 14 and the 22 are in the wall. Munoz gets out of shape trying to avoid them. But they all hang on to it. I'm not sure how, but they all hung on to it. That was crazy.
Escaped that cleanly, but they all escaped of it with the cars still going straight. That is incredible.
I don't know how. We may have a fight for the lead soon because the 11 is up here. Ooh. She is there. Aya has been really good at these tracks. To the inside goes Takamoto Aya, looking to become the first driver not from Panos Racing to lead this race.
Sider down the backstretch, a big dive from Aya here to 3 and 4.
She takes it.
A little bit though.
She took the lead, but the
40 trying to get back to the bumper.
She took the lead, but the 46 is right back on her. Kind of overdrove the corner just a bit there, but she's doing okay. Izzy Oberman now in 6th. She's gotten by Brenda Davis. More 3-wide action back here.
They're racing like crazy back here in the mid-pack. This is insane.
There's Isabella Smith. There's Cara Reynolds.
Hey, Cara Reynolds is kind of cooking here.
She spun, but she's starting to move up through the field. She's in 25th now. Isabella Smith is here as well.
Oh, that's not... Oh, no!
Oh, the 95's around again with Sundale. Caution's out.
Talk about an ounce of jinx.
Well...
Yikes.
Race back to the yellow. And the 95's still going. I don't even think she's that damaged. Like, it's a little a little bent in arrow-wise on the side there, but I don't think she damaged it too badly. Shelby's the free pass car.
Exactly what Shelby was looking for there.
Yeah.
And now should, I think, be back on the lead lap.
Yes, she will be. Reynolds' second incident for her today. Everyone comes to pit road. 88's staying out because she's off the lead lap, so she cannot pit this time. I imagine everyone will do 4 tires here. They did 4 tires when they ran 10 laps, so they've run about 30 since the last run. Roberts, I believe, won the race out. Aya had a terrible stop. She dropped back to 5th, I believe. Or 6th, actually.
Wait, who got it off the pit lane? That was a bit of a slow release there for Brousseau.
Yeah. Brousseau's the leader.
Got it, though.
I think Brousseau's the leader, yeah.
Brousseau's probably got a really big advantage there with
that stall.
Pit box selection. Yeah.
Yeah. That pit stall is a really big advantage for her. She's been winning the race out pretty consistently. 25's in. Well, what happened with Reynolds and I believe it was Laura Sundale? Oh, Sundale just gets in the back of her and she just loses it. It just comes around. Yeah, Sundale just kind of taps the back end at a bad spot. Doesn't hit it square and it just... 95 just couldn't hang on. Well, they're getting a little antsy. They're using the bumpers a fair bit here, but it's been fairly clean. We've only had 2 cautions in 45 laps. That's not the worst thing ever, I think.
Definitely think it's a lot better than a lot of short track races here in Arkansas, that's for sure. But so far, it's been a very fun race, and we're only about a fifth of the way through, so definitely a lot more in store, but it's been a fun race here so far.
And Estrada's come off the pit road. Estrada's back here. She's all the way back here, so... I don't know why they're slowing down. But Estrada is back here, so lap cars won't be an issue right now. Well, maybe Estrada will be an issue because she pitted for an engine issue. Where we got word that she pitted for an engine issue. It was not a penalty on the restart for Estrada. Lights are out on the pace car. We're about to go back to green. Brousseau leads the race. The chase for the money leader right now is Naomi Davenport, who sits in 16th. But Maya Sheldeby, who looked really fast earlier, is back on the lead lap, and she was actually closing in on the 11 in that run. So Aya's mired back in 6th now after this pit cycle, but we know the 11 has a fast car. We know that the Panos racing cars are fast. And look who's made her way back up here. It's the 51 of Sandy Martell. Here we go. Green flag. And Martell looks to the inside on Kennedy already here for 3rd. Okay, looks like the 88's not really that up to pace. The 88 might actually be okay, somewhat okay, because this track is a lot of cornering. You know, of the tracks to be down a cylinder, this is probably not the worst one.
Martell might be trying to look for 2nd here. Here we go.
51 for 2nd.
Also
She's going to...
simultaneously going for 4th on Jackie Kennedy.
Yeah. How about Vinny? Vinny's another one of those drivers that's been really good in points this year, but just hasn't been able to win a race.
I think he's had some great runs so far this season, and looking for another good run here so far. Has been silently making her way through the field, and maybe now even
Caution.
for a spot in the top 3.
Oh, we got a
Caution.
big
That
crash.
was big. That is big.
Sundale. Looks like Hageman's in it. Looks like Quinton, Morales, Easelhart have spun around. Big crash on the front straightaway. That's our 3rd caution of the day. And that 26 looks not great.
To see if that's fixable. Oh, split strategy.
Yeah, split
This is gonna
strategy.
Throw
Okay.
a whole new wrench into things.
Yeah, bit of a split strategy here. I mean, okay. Looks like mostly just splash of fuel for most of these cars. Just trying to top up the fuel tanks. Let's see what happens. Starts up here. Back here, there's Quinton, Easelhart, and Morales. And Sundale spins around. Sundale got spun around. I think she tried to miss that, and Morales spun up into her. And it nabbed the 95 as well. So,
Bro, are we for real?
88's out of the race. She would have been the free pass, but she was involved, so... Reynolds has had 3 accidents so far, and I don't think any of them have actually been her fault.
Yeah, Reynolds has had a really unlucky go of it so far here today. That wreck definitely gave her quite a bit of damage, so it looks like the rear end was kind of bent up. Hopefully, doesn't set her too far off the pace, but we'll have to see.
As long as she doesn't have engine damage, I think she'll be okay.
Yeah, I think so.
The rear end's still on the car, so... Probably better than nothing. I don't know who the first car out of pit road was. I think it was the 51?
I think so.
So yeah, the top 10 cars right now just all stayed out. That's Brissot, Roberts, Schultz, Kennedy, Aya, Wilson, Chishtina, Tremblay-Vaudreuil, Buchanan, and Starchev.
Old strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off.
Man, Carl Reynolds has had one of the most unlucky days. I know you're probably not thrilled about that, but...
Not very much, but...
she still scored 24th.
Yeah, still having a run that could definitely be much worse, and we're still only about a fifth of the way through the race, so still plenty of time for stuff to happen. And yeah, like you said, the 95 kind of beat up on the rear end, but the front end still looks alright, so the engine hopefully probably fine, so hopefully she's not too much off the pace really at all, hopefully. We'll see, but
We'll see.
the one to go here.
One to go. So we got one more lap till we go back green. Hopefully we can go green for a little longer. It does not look like it will be a 2007 Xfinity Memphis race. Busch Series Memphis race, sorry. As mentioned in the pre-race, that race held the Xfinity record. It actually does not hold the Xfinity record for most cautions in a race. It never did, but it was one off from it. I figured I'd clarify that. Which is still not great. Green flag, here we go.
Great jump by Brousseau. Roberts already trying to reel her back in. Brousseau got a good run off the corner, though.
Yeah. Aya's up to 4th. She's trying to look underneath Kennedy. Here comes Jennifer Wilson looking. Aya's taking the spot. See about these cars that took a splash of fuel.
Does it seem like the cars that have stayed out are so far able to hold their own quite well? So it will definitely be interesting to see how it'll come into effect as we get later on to the race. If we could maybe get a bit of a long green flag run here.
Well, the 51's looking on the 66 for the 10th position. She'll take that. You're curious about the 95's pace? Where is she?
That's...
she's out of the race.
That's a problem.
That's, not great. Well, I think they gave up. I think if you got wrecked that much, you might as well give up.
Now even more spiciness thrown into that cut line battle.
Yeah. Well, Reynolds was plus 71.
Kind of around that area, I've been having trouble so far today.
Reynolds came in plus 71. So she has a bit of a cushion. But if we get a new winner, that cushion could evaporate very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a battle for 4th here brewing for a bit. Wilson took the spot from Aya, but Aya's trying to get it back. There's this group messing around back here. That's 3 wide with Moriyama, Oberman, and Martel. Starchev just took 10th back, so still these cars that stayed out doing good with holding their position. So I'm thinking that staying out might have been the right call there.
I think it might have been, as a lot of cars up here towards the front of the field trying to pull away.
5 car is fairly off the pace.
Sheldon,
I'm not
I
sure
think, has
what's
a
up there.
bit of rearing damage, I think I saw.
You
I
might
don't know
be you
where
may be
that
right.
Might have come from, but it could have maybe been another stacked up under the yellow flag potentially, and maybe that could have been also what took out Reynolds for good as well.
Maybe.
It looked like that 95 was going to be fine there.
It did look like she was fine. Three wide right there.
3 wide. Off
There's
of 4,
Davenport.
3 wide back there as well.
It's still a mess here. Here comes Jennifer Wilson. She's caught up to Vinnie Schultz. That 60 car is up into 4th, now up to 3rd. She just took the spot away from the 62.
It's looking pretty quick here under this run.
There's Chishtina battling with Kennedy right here. Moving up into 6th
Looking
spot.
to close in on her lead battle once again.
Well, Brousseau's been pretty good as the leader so far. She's led most of this race. She lost the lead to Aya for a little bit, and she lost the lead to Roberts for a little bit, but she's been able to get back out front on pit road every time.
One to the inside. They're going into 1 and 2 right now, running right outside of the top 10, so has lost a bit of ground since the restart. Rada got stuck on the outside. I think they were stuck on the outside there for a little bit.
Yeah, I think she was.
A little bit of ground, but looking to try and close that gap back up a little bit here.
You know, Sandy Martel's been on a crazy run in that 51 car. She has looked very strong because she's been making races. And that was something she struggled to do in that 82 car. That 82 car with Zoe Quinton obviously just won last week at 5 Flags. So, you know, both of these drivers had the pace. I guess they just didn't have it together. They have a battle. That's the chase for the money battle right here. 22 and the 15 are right next to each other.
Definitely is amazing in some instances what just a change of team environment can do to a driver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just look in real life at whatever's going on at Red Bull's second seat.
There we go. There comes Smith on Davenport.
Bit of a slider there.
Yeah, she slid it. She did not have a great pull off of turn number 4, but she drove it deep into
Time
1.
it back in. She wants a spun. She's not taking no for an answer here.
That's for the money.
That's right, yeah.
She takes it. Isabella Smith now out front in that battle. Roberts starting to close in on Brousseau once more.
Wilson also kind of hanging back there as well, looking to close in.
Jennifer Wilson has been closing in on quite a bit, yeah. Remember, Wilson was very fast at Bristol earlier in the year.
Maybe something about Tennessee short tracks, I guess.
Maybe. 64 is on pit road.
64 is down pit road.
I'm not sure what's going on there.
Had a tough break there. I think she was running either in or right outside the top 10 there.
She was in the top 10 at that stage, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really tough break there.
There's Charlie McCarran. Remember, McCarran stepped into this 10 car kind of out of the blue. She didn't really have a lot of practice in these cars, and she's still taken to it pretty solidly. Keep in mind that the 10 car is leading the owner points chase right now. The owner points title. So, and this car is leading it by a very large amount. She's leading the owner points by about 96, I believe, coming in. Meanwhile, here's a fight for second. Here comes Wilson.
Second.
64 is off pit road, so she's come back, but she's gonna fall. She's fallen two laps down. Schultz gonna take third now from Roberts. We got a battle for ninth. There's Starchev and Martel. I think Martel's starting to pick up. I think once the field spreads out a little bit, it's a little easier for them to pick off cars and make moves, just because once the field's spread out, you can kind of just run your line a little bit easier.
It's a lot more difficult when you got a car in front of you, a car behind you, cars pretty much all around you. We've seen so far here today just how close this race can be. We've seen 3 wide, we've even seen an instance of 4 wide.
Well, yeah, when they're going 2, 3, 4 wide around you, it's very hard to make moves because you're usually probably one of those cars that's stuck on the outside. But when everyone's kind of single filed out like this, it's much easier to be able to make that move. As here comes Aya looking underneath Roberts.
Up there, yeah. Once you're all spread out and everything, you can really start putting the focus on where your car is, your line, whatever you want to do. But yeah, once you're racing in really tight quarters, especially at a short track like this, you really need to keep all the other cars in mind.
Ellie, you know what happened on Moriyama's car?
Yeah, so over in the pits, we heard that the 64 ended up having an oil leak, which is what caused her some trouble.
Looks like she took tires on that stop as well, so I think they're just gonna kind of try and play this out and hope for a caution to get the free pass. She's 2 laps down now. If she passes the 46, she'd be 1 lap down. And keep in mind as well that if she's 1 lap down, she would be the only car a lap down at the moment, so.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Keep in mind that the 64 is now 1 lap down, so if the caution comes out now, she would not only would she get a lap back from the 46, she would also get the free pass and get on the lead lap. There's the money spot right here. Smith has it by 2 spots over Davenport. Scroll back through the field a little bit. You'll find the 3rd driver, that's Quinn, and then you'll find Shelby back here.
So that 45 car, Roberts has kind of fallen off a little bit as this run goes along. That was kind of falling to the clutches here. I've Stina and Kennedy. I'm trying to get around that 45.
Yeah, Mila Chestina is right here, right all over that 45, and
They went over Rousseau's not showing any signs of falling off, at least here so far. People are going to try and pull away a little bit more.
6
Yeah,
car
it's not
gonna
over
take
1.5 seconds.
6 car into the top 5. Chestina up here now. She's another driver who's, you know, new to the stock car racing from the Czech Republic. She's pretty new to this, doesn't have a lot of experience, and she's run very well in most of her starts. She has 2 top 10s in her 4 starts. So half of her runs have been top 10s, and she arguably ran top 10 pace at Aguascalientes as well.
Definitely nothing to scoff at there, especially for a driver that's still trying to kind of get the reins here.
Yeah. And Ani Starchev as well also has been pretty solid. Remember, she won on debut at Michigan.
Yeah.
So Starchev is in the playoffs because of that win. Bridget Brosseau still leads by a second and a half over Jennifer Wilson and Vinnie Schultz. Takamoto Aya 4th, Mila Tristina 5th. That's a triple Inverness Racing top 5 right now. Their worst running car is Izzy Oberman in 15th. So I finally managed to start calculating the team's championship, and this is looking to be a pretty good day for Inverness Racing, all things considered. They came in 31 points behind Hokkaido Velocity. 30 points behind, excuse me. And obviously one Hokkaido car has already had trouble today, so.
It's definitely be a pretty big points all day for that team if they can stay where they are running right now. Of course, things can definitely change. We'll have to see, but right now it's definitely looking pretty good.
There's the other Hokkaido car, the Zero of Yoko. The Zero and the 64 both had issues, but the 64 could at least, the 64 at least has an issue that may be recoverable as the 11 is slow, and Takamoto Aya, one of the fastest cars all day, is off the pace.
So it might be a flat tire on the 11, can't really tell. But, that's a tough break there.
That's tough, especially for Aya, who was really fast all race.
That's one of the only 2 cars we've seen so far to get past Bridget Brosseau on the racetrack. And the other one, Liz Roberts, is continuing to slip back there in that 45.
Ellie, word on the 11?
Yeah, it looks like something happened to Aya's tire, which is pretty unfortunate for her, given she's had a pretty impressive run so far.
I imagine they'll probably change all 4 at this point. We're, what, 45 laps into this run? I think you might as well change all 4. Martell's moved up to 4th now. I think stacked up a little bit of the field. Asha, you got any word on Vinny?
Yeah, Echo, you mentioned how the Inverness cars are running really well right now. Obviously, we just saw the 11 car drop into pit road with that tire down. Right now, the word in at least 2 of the other garages here at the Inverness garages right now, at least with a 62 and 6 right now, the ones that are up in the top 10. They're trying to figure out the setup strategy right now to find a way to just get to that 46 right now, let alone passing them. Right, their balance right now is pretty good. Vinny's been saying that the balance is pretty good most of the way. Just a little bit of tightness on exit, preventing her from really launching off the corner as well as she wants to. But good progress right now. A bit more required, but hopefully that'll be resolved for them in the next few pit stops.
Well, Aya took 4 tires there, so she should be well faster than the 46. Yeah, she just ran a lap 3/10 faster there.
And we were just talking about how this team could have a really good points off if things stay kind of how they were. And
it immediately did not stay how it was.
It's been a day of announcer jinx here so far. But if this run can stick it out to the end, I think I might still definitely have a shot to maybe salvage something out of this.
Well, they can run about 95 laps on fuel at the very maximum, which means that if they're gonna pit, if they're gonna pit under green, it's probably gonna be around lap 130 to 140. I don't believe they'd be able to one-stop it from there. I don't believe they'd be able to. I don't believe they'd be able to go to the end from that point, as the 11's already caught the 46. Yeah, she ran 0.6 faster. That's how much new tires are worth here. But it is fairly difficult to get that run to get by.
Especially with Brosseau kind of parking it there on that inside lane.
This is a track where you kind of need momentum.
I got a bit there off of turn 4. Maybe
I think she'll dive it down.
One.
Clear before they even reach the corner. Isabella Smith's made her way up to 9th now. There's where Davenport is, sitting in 12th, battling with Oberyn for that spot. Deborah Williams, who early driver that was up front early, then slipped back. She's back up to 14th. There's Charlie McCarran sitting 15th. Abby Buchanan in 16th. Kate Summers involved in an early incident, 23rd. There's Moriyama, by the way. She's already caught the tail end of the field, so... Moriyama's on fairly fresh tires. Yeah, she's on about 25 lap fresher tires than everybody else, and I think that's showing right now. Aya's on about 50 lap fresher tires, so I think Aya may be able to one-stop it from here. If everything cycles... If everything cycles properly, I think the 11 could feasibly get back in the lead lap by either... or if it goes green all the way to the end, I think she could just one-stop to the end of the race. This is going to be very interesting strategy-wise. Fight for 7th. Here's Tremblay-Vaudrey and Roberts.
Roberts continuing to kind of just bleed positions here, is now down into the 8th position, maybe even 9th. As here comes Isabella Smith to the inside. Isabella Smith's done a great job here trying to pull away from that 22 after she got by her.
Yeah.
And now trying to look here for spots here inside of the top 10, looking to get an even bigger cushion, although where did the 22
pitted
go?
22's on pit road.
Oh, that's... I don't know.
I believe that's scheduled. I believe that's scheduled. I don't see any mechanical issues with that car. So I believe that the 22's come down. I believe that's a scheduled stop.
See if anybody else likes to come down here in the next few laps.
That's a lot earlier than I was expecting, but honestly, I guess I'm not that surprised. Tires are pretty meaningful here. You see how fast the 11 is right now. I'm not surprised that they're short pitting on tires.
This 22 is going to be absolutely ripping it around the racetrack now that they're on fresh tires and everybody else is approaching the tail end of the run here.
And we're approaching the end. We're right at the end of that tire window. Look at their fastest lap and look at where their lap times are now. They're almost a second off their fast laps right now.
Another of many strategy wrenches that we've seen done in this race so far. Some by choice, some not so much, but still, it's definitely intriguing to see how all these different strategy calls will play out.
If that's the tire window, I don't think anybody's going to be able to one-stop. I think this is at least a two-stop to the end. Davenport's struggling to get by the 60 here of Wilson. I'm surprised nobody else has come in with that 22.
It's kind of surprising, although 22 is kind of struggling a little bit here so far, even with those fresher tires. Hasn't been able to get past that 60, and honestly kind of under fire here from the 62 of Vinny Scholes. Oh, she's going to dive it there into
Yeah,
1-2.
she was done. I think she was done waiting. And now Vinny might Vinny might try to take second here from that. Nope, she stays behind. Look at who's closed in on this because of that. Here comes the 51 of Sandy Martel. Now that's a car I'm going to watch for because she's very fast. We got to move for second. There's Schultz on Wilson. Wilson got the run off the corner, though. You can fight back. You can use the outside to fight back here. It's fairly solid for doing that.
Vinny overcooked the corner a little bit. Martel might have a bit of a run here off of 4. Still not seeing anybody in the pit lane. Oh, it's Martel looking for third here on Vinny Scholes.
Yep.
Martel might definitely have to be a car to watch out for as this race does end up playing along, because 51 has just kind of silently been picking her way here through this field and has silently closed in here to second and third place cars. So I definitely have to watch out for this 51. I think she's even slowly closed in a little bit to the 46 of Bridget Brousseau over these past couple of laps.
She has.
And now Brousseau is going to have
They're so slow.
actually a little bit of a challenge here.
Yeah, Brousseau's got the 22 on her right now. If you're Brousseau, I want to just let Davenport go without losing time. So I'm just back off, you know, going into the corner here, I think. Let that 22 have the spot, but she's not doing that. She's not letting the 22 by.
Jennifer Wilson's kind of closed it a little bit as well on that 60. Got the gap down to under a second again. Or under 2 seconds again, I should say.
Davenport's going to finally get to the inside. Get one of her laps back. You fall 2 laps down on pit road when you pit, so... Brenda Davis sitting 5th. There's Mila Chestina, Tremblay-Vaudrey, Smith, Roberts, Starchev. That's the rest of the top 10. Izzy Overman sitting 12th. The next driver in the chase for the money, that's Zoe Quinn all the way back here in the 23rd position. And then the next driver after her is Shelby, who's sitting 29th. Cara Reynolds out of the race. Nobody else has come down pit road, and I'm kind of surprised by that because I think that pitting early like this is going to be something that you might want to do.
I definitely thought after the 22 came down that might draw at least a couple more drivers in. Honestly, kind of surprised that it didn't as well.
Yeah. We're about to take halfway here from Memphis, and this race is kind of blown by. Been pretty quick race. It's been a pretty quick race so far. Only 3 cautions so far. We've been on a long green flag run. We've been green since lap number 50 here from Memphis Motorsports Park.
Especially now that we've gotten a pretty decently long green flag run here. Yeah, this race has really started flying by now.
It's a pretty fast track. Only about 22-second laps, and we're only running 250, so... Speaking of which, we got the race tomorrow from Rio de Janeiro at the Petrobras 400. That's going to be really fun as the Cup cars are in Brazil for the only race in South America. And the fans are going to turn out big time down there, I think. Well, we are past halfway, which means it's time for our weekly gambling on whether there will be a caution during this segment. I will be tossing it down FanDuel Fan Studio here very briefly here with Rosh and Ellie here from the Memphis Motorsports Park as we are halfway through this race. Rosh, Ellie, what do you two got down there?
Hello, we're halfway through the race right now. Watching the 46 of Bridget Brosseau continue to lead the way here in the FedEx 250, sitting about just under 2.5 seconds ahead of the number 60 car of Jennifer Wilson. We're in the middle of we're kind of, but not really in the middle of a cycle now, with the 22, of course, coming in for those fresh tires. Right now, ripping around the track, running pretty quick. We'll see what these, there she is in the middle of traffic right now, just wedging her way through all of these cars at a much faster pace. We'll have to see what the tire fall off looks like right now on these cars. It doesn't look too bad, but yeah, it's definitely interesting to see. It's interesting to see that we haven't seen anyone come in yet, given that these drivers are coming in. Oh, here we go. Never mind. We're starting to see cars now. So we're watching the 8 of Kate Summers as we basically. Hang on, I've lost my train of thought here. As I was saying before we saw the 8 come in, these cars are running about 1.5 seconds slower than their fastest laps right now. Maybe 1.3 seconds. But now we're starting to see cars coming in. 66. Also, that's Annie Starchiev, the 6 of Mila Shostina. That's one of the Inverness cars who's been running in the top 5 most of the race. Here comes our leader, the 46 of Bridget Brosseau. We'll stick with her here as we see the 46 Ponos Racing Team take charge of the pit stop. Jennifer Wilson there. Justina just coming out of pit lane now. 8 and 60 coming out simultaneously. 46 about to slot into her pit stall here. Looking around the field right now. Yeah, it's going to be tricky to track all of these cars right now, but we know the 51, I think, is the first car that stayed out right now. It hasn't come in yet. That's the 51 of Sandy Martel, who won not too long ago. I believe that was at Evergreen. The 62 as well of Vinnie Schultz. The 54 in third. Then you have the 15 of Isabella Smith, and the 45, the other Ponos racing car of Liz Roberts. This is Takamoto Aya we're watching here. She came in kind of in the middle of the pit cycle. As we see those new tires working their magic. I say that as if the 11 didn't come in about 30 laps ago at this point. 11 coming in as well. That's a surprise. This is a real oh, watch out. Amazing. That is astounding. I don't know what that was about. Doesn't look like the caution. Doesn't look like the officials have been alerted, but Takamoto Aya has just pulled the greatest belter move of all time by just slamming it into the pit. Just slamming it into the pit wall for no reason.
Yeah, that was great.
I don't know what happened there. Vinnie Schultz has learned not to hit the barrels. We saw her do that last week. She successfully negotiated the barrels this time around. Well, I guess that's going to have playoff implications. Whatever happens to the 11, seemingly a new thing goes wrong for that 11 team every week. And that's certainly going to drop her further down in the playoffs. 51 of Sandy Martel still out here logging laps. I'm surprised she hasn't come in yet. I think trying to utilize an undercut would be of great interest for a lot of these teams, but yeah, looks like most of these teams are electing to stay out for a little bit longer. So it's 51, 54, 15, 93, and now 55 of Deborah Williams, your top 5. 5 car of Maya Shelby coming in there. Running near the back. She's had a few problems today. Kind of just nursing the car through the race right now. A couple more cars coming in. That's the 81. Watch out. That's another one that's going to hit the barriers. Well, she doesn't have a front end, so there's not much of a front end to damage on that car at least, but the 7 of Rainier Munoz is kind of taken for collateral there. That's 2 cars now that have failed to come into pit lane correctly. Watch out, this is a 3rd one. The 10 of Charlie McCarron has done the exact same thing. What is going? They're 4 wide over here. What is going on there? All hell is breaking loose, I think. Well, folks, we're watching an exorcism. I think this track needs an exorcism or something like that. That's the 22 racing with these teams. I'm not sure if that's for position or not. I would think the 22 is a lap ahead. given how long she's had to catch these cars. That might be wrong though. She might be right on the same lap as the 6 and everyone else. I believe she is. This is for position, I believe. And this is a real mess of position. Look at a real mess of drivers as we're still in the middle of this pit cycle. But now we have cars that are running about half the field is running about a second ahead of the rest of the field. What kind of implications do you think this will have as the 51 now comes in?
Well, I just want to say that I've been pretty impressed with Vinny Schultz and Martel the whole entire race. I think they've been driving like a little better than my expectations were going into this race, but we kind of have like an interesting setup right now. There's a decent bit of cars that are lapped by now, and
yeah, this is the most dangerous time right now. If you're one of those cars that took that bit the bullet and came to the pits early, you're of course going to be a lap down. So you want to make sure that everyone's got to cycle around. And a lot of these cars that right now are refusing to come in, as that was almost a caution between the 51 and 77. Close call there on pit exit.
And it doesn't look like too many of the lapped cars are making it past, other than just the 22 who just finally got a position.
54.82 now, Zoe Quinton. That is one of your chase for the money drivers, running well slower than everyone else. You can see just how much faster the 12 is there on the inside. And she's rightly calling it, coming in now to take fresh tires and top up on fuel. The Ullmann Enterprise Mercedes comes in alongside the 38 of Izzy Fitzmaurice.
22 just flew to 7th.
22 is up to 7th now. She has, although of course, given her tires about 20 laps newer, she is going to have to defend for most of this run. So this is an interesting dynamic now. If you're the 22, you might want a caution now.
Yeah.
Because you're on those older tires, you're gonna eventually start sliding behind the field, I think. Though with most everyone coming in, this does put the 64 a driver. We know that Moriyama's up quite a ways off cycle, I think, from the pack. So yeah, she's on much older tires than everyone else here. As you can see, the 46, I should say, negotiating past. The 6 of Justina has moved up to 2nd. Good work by the 6 team there to execute well on pit road. Move up to 2nd, past the 60 of Jennifer Wilson. Looks like pretty much everyone cycled around here successfully. The 51 of Martel fell way back, I think. That's I think, racing the 42 for position.
62 and 22 are going to try and battle it for 5th, I think.
Yeah. If you get an update on where the 51 of Martel is right now in position.
10th.
Yeah, fallen quite a ways back, so dropped a few positions. Not too bad, but almost 10 seconds back.
I think she can fight it.
She can fight it, but yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a tricky situation there, given how long she came in.
Yep, and the 62 got it.
Yeah, 51 will have pretty much the freshest tires of everyone, I should say, with the exception of just a few cars here. But yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Looks like the strategy definitely shook up the field, though. I mean, you can see that. The 46 still leads. The 64 is kind of discounted from this. We have the 6 and 60 now. The 04, the 62, the 22 who's moved up, the 45 who's moved down a little bit, 51 as well, and the 66 who's kind of stayed put. So this is interesting. This is very intriguing now. We have drivers on tires of all ages now. So it's all of these drivers are going to be handling this run specifically very differently, I think, from anybody else. And I think this is the run that might determine the course of the race here. It's going to be important for the 46 to have a really good run if she wants to consolidate a win if things stay green.
Yeah, I think she's gonna have to play it really smart here. We've got a really shooken up field here.
Yeah, 51 is
Oh my
really
God.
getting down. 51's already up to the 45 here. There's the 15 of Isabella Smith lurking behind. Yeah, looks like the 38 of Izzy Fitzmaurice was the last car to come in, so I think it was the 38 and the 82. Those are the drivers that are on the freshest tires. They were already a little bit further back before we had a before the pit cycle. See where they are on the leaderboard. 38 is 28th and the 82 is 22nd. They're both a lap down right now. They're all kind of in this pack. Check with the 82. See their speed. There she is, trying to get around some of these top 5 cars and unlap herself. Actually, dealing with a 64 car in 3rd place. Oops. Let's focus on this battle here. The 04, 64 to an extent, 60 and 62. Careful there, 3 wide. And this is important. This is for, well, eventually it'll be for 3rd. I believe it'll eventually be for 3rd place once they get to the 04 again. But good one for them for the 60 right now. Jennifer Wilson looking very quick, has been running top 5 all day.
Yeah, the 60 has looked really good the entire race so far.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see how long she'll hold on to that, but it doesn't look like she's really lost that momentum.
The pace seems to be there on the short and long runs.
Yeah.
So, same with the 62. These cars seem very quick, and the 04 is off to an excellent run. This is an outstanding run for that PHLM car. But yeah, it is a little bit surreal to be watching a strategy-oriented race here at Memphis. That's gonna shake things up a little bit for our FanDuel fan picks, I would think.
Yeah.
Given this isn't something we'd normally be looking at for a short track race. Not exactly used to seeing pit stops matter this much for a race at a track that's under a mile long, at least to this extent. Anyways, outside of Aguas, I don't think we've seen anything like this before. So yeah, I mean, with that in mind, with all the diverging strategies going on right now, who do you have your eyes on for? Who do you have your eyes on right now to perhaps move up? Do you think the 46 is going to be able to stay up there for the whole race, or do you think someone a little bit further back is going to be able to gambit their way up front?
Well, I'm eyeing the 62 and the 22 right now. They kind of look like the hottest cars right now, but I think I'm gonna say the 62 might have the best strategy-wise, and they've been cutting up traffic the entire race, it looks like. So I think they're the car to have it.
Yeah, I agree that the 62 definitely has a good combination. Definitely has a good combination of both pace and strategy right now. They do look quite quick. Personally, I'm gonna go with her teammate, the 6 of Mila Chestina. That 6 car has been toe-to-toe with the 62 the entire way, I would say. And right now, sitting 3.5 seconds back of the 46, kind of where the 60 was before the pit cycle, kind of in that position. The 46 has been extremely quick, and I don't doubt that one of our booth personalities will take them as their fan pick. But I think over the long run, I don't think you can discount this 6 team. I don't think you can discount Inverness as a whole. They've looked really good this race, and those 2 teams specifically have looked very strong in all around, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And with that, if we're ready to move back to the booth here, we'll take things over to the booth here if the booth are ready. Hello, Echo. Are you guys there?
I'm here.
All right. We'll see. Well, with that, we'll see you guys at the end of the race for the post-race show, and we bid adieu from the studio for now.
All right, Caleb, 90 laps to go. What's your pick?
Honestly, I think I'm going to stay with our current race leader and pole sitter, Bridget Rousseau. Maybe not looking like the fastest car on the racetrack as it stands right now, because a lot of the cars behind are looking to try and close in, but that 46 definitely has a lot of cushion to work with. Oh, that's a 22!
And the 64. Oh, the 46 just ran into a lap car. Well, that changed that changes things. Whoa,
Oh,
the
we got one
51's around in the back here.
It's definitely going to shake things up quite a bit here.
Yeah, that's changed pretty much the whole thing here. Rousseau leads, but we are coming down pit road. Well, yeah, why don't you finish your pick here?
I'm still going to go with that 4060 Bridget Rousseau. That car has still been really fast here all race long, and she's been the dominant car so far all race, so I'd keep an eye still here on this 4060 Bridget Rousseau to get it done.
I'm going to take the 51 of Sandy Martel. She's been really fast on the short tracks. She won at Evergreen just a couple weeks ago. She's looked really fast all day, and I think she has the best strategy. I'm taking Martel here to win this one. Well, it's a very, very interesting thing here. Let's go back and see what happened. The 22 and 64 were both off-cycle tire-wise, so... Looks like it was just a bit of a... Oh, they went 4 wide. That's what happened, and the 22 just cleared herself off the 38. Ooh, Moriyama took a big hit. Buchanan. Caleb, it seems like your cars just can't avoid these wrecks.
So yeah, we did a pretty good job there.
Yeah, Buchanan did pretty solid there.
So that's going to be pretty big, pretty interesting in this money fight, though, because Isabella Smith now just has 2 more competitors remaining, and both of them have at least a decent amount of damage, so we'll have to see how that shakes things up. The 77, I don't know if he's going
Well,
back
looks like Davenport's still on track. Actually, I think Davenport's still on the lead lap. No, 22's still on the lead lap.
So things this will change here, but yeah, I'd say Isabella Smith is probably in a pretty good spot here.
Yeah, I think so. That spot to win the prize and stay eligible for the next race at New Hampshire next week. It's a fun 4-race stretch for the Chase for the Money. We got Memphis, New Hampshire, Chicagoland, and the brand new Echo Energy International Speedway, which will be making its debut in just a couple weeks here in the AWSCO Snapdragon Continental Series and the Cup and the Windows Cup Series. The brand new track in Surrey, British Columbia. All right, well, we're about to go back green. Brosseau, Chestina, Schultz, Roberts, Wilson, Martel, Combe-Vaudreuil, Ableton Perez, Starchev, and Davis, the top 10. McCarron is retired from the race. 19 cars are on the lead lap right now. Sorry, 20 cars should be on the lead lap. I guess the 77 just didn't take her lap back. Green flag, here we go. We're back to racing from Memphis. And here's Chestina. She got a great restart. That 6 cars hanging with the 46.
He's had a great jump there on the start. Was able to stay on the back bumper of the 46. Brosseau went a bit wide there through 1 and 2. And still going to keep these top couple of cars here bunched up. Here comes Roberts in the 45. Might have some momentum back in that machine. Looking to try and get back up here into this lead battle. And Martel in 51 also back up here as well.
How about the 51? Gotten by the 62. She's going for the spot on the 45. Gonna just muscle her way by.
Rails right now.
But Brosseau is still out front. That 46 car has been fast all day, but I'm not sure that that car's looked like the fastest car really much of this race. But she's managed to hold that track position pretty well.
See, maybe Martel might have something here for our race leader already trying to close in here on the back bumper of the 6 machine. Looking to maybe try and find a way around here, but Brosseau trying to pull away a little bit here. Almost now to half a second here over the 6.
She lost a little bit that time, I think. Martel couldn't get underneath. Martel's going to get underneath here, though. 51 for second. 51 is closing big time on Brosseau.
Bit of a check up there in the 1 and 2, but still was able to complete the pass.
Justina's gonna try the crossover. Can't get the momentum off the corner.
And you know what? Here comes Alberton Perez in the 25.
Yeah, the 25. We have not talked about her all day, and she's showing up here. Kathy Ableton Perez has run pretty well in these short tracks. She finished 3rd at Aguascalientes. That's a pretty solid strategy race. There's Kennedy. There's Lori Lori Ramirez is a lap down, excuse me. Martel's clear for second, and now she's closing. Ableton Perez actually has the fastest lap now.
Oh. 25 kind of just been mired back in traffic all day. May have just completely slipped under the radar, and now up here battling for the lead where everybody's kind of spread out and where she can run her own race side. At 25 might definitely be one to watch out for here in these closing stages.
I think where Martel is better than that 46 is on corner exit. 51 has been just really good at getting the power down right here. She's just getting on the gas a little earlier than the 46s, and she's able to carry that down the straightaway.
But dive a lot deeper into the corners as well. 6 had a pretty good dive there in 1 and 2. Able to close in a little bit. These top 3, you could probably throw a blanket over top of them right now. With
it might be that top. It might be that top 4 soon, because here comes the 25.
I think it's going to be top 4 here in just a second.
They're already all under a second. Top 5 are under a second from each other.
Top 5 is Kennedy's looking to close in here now under a second.
Here comes Ableton Perez for 3rd. Is Martel going to make that move, or is the 25 going to do it for her?
Got a pretty good run there off of turn number 2. Can she take it to the inside here in the 3 and 4? Not
46 slipped a little bit, though.
Maybe. Still not quite, but all over the back bumper. You're down the front straightaway going into 1 and 2. Brosseau's done a good job here so far at hooking that bottom lane, but 51 all over the back bumper of the 46. If she slips wide just one more time, that 51's going to be there.
Good battling back here, but really good battling for the lead now. Martel is there. She is all over Brosseau, and she's looking down to the inside. Does she go for it? Not quite. Oh, she let the
faked
46.
Brousseau out.
She faked
her
Brousseau
She's
out.
on the
Brousseau's in the
wall.
wall. The 46 sent it way too deep in the corner, and the 51 has gotten the lead, but the 25's still all over her now.
Martel's now in the lead, but not home clear. Has Ableton Perez all over the back bumper now, that 51. But Martel kind of faked out a dive bomb there on the 46. Brousseau sent it really wide to the corner, a bit too wide, and just slammed the wall on exit. And not only is that going to cost Brousseau the lead and quite a bit of momentum there, it might put a bit of a dent in her day there, as she might have to fight the aerodynamics of that car now a little bit.
How about the 31 of Ramirez? She's off the lead lap, but right now, as it stands, if she's able to if there's another caution that comes out, she would be the free pass car. Although there's a genuine possibility that the 31 ends up passing these two leaders by herself and gets in the lead lap on merit. And Brousseau with a big donut on the right side of that car. That is not something that you want to do, especially from the lead.
And she absolutely knocked that wall down off of turn 4. And now kind of fall into the clutches here of her teammate Roberts here. As honestly, this top 2 is kind of pulled away here from the rest of the guys here in this top 10.
Yeah, but the top 2 are right next to each other. Ableton Perez is all over Martel right now. She's not been able to do anything yet, but
She slipped a little bit wide there, and forward Brousseau slipped a bit wide once again. Roberts might be looking to set something up here into 1 and 2. Tried it. We'll go for it here. Jack and Kennedy as well, waiting in the wings. Oh boy.
they're going to go 3 wide. Oh, no, they almost did.
Oh,
I thought they were.
Oh boy.
Oh, they are. Here comes the 12. 12 going to try to go 2 for 1 here.
Through goes Jackie Kennedy.
Here comes Vinny Schultz. Here comes Chestina. Here comes the 66 of Starchev.
We got a crazy battle heating up here for third on back. Oh my goodness.
Oh, dear. They are getting all over the place, and the 31 of Ramirez, a lap car, is starting to get in the mix for the lead here. As Ableton Perez tries to clear that 51. Oh, it's tight back here. Schultz battling with Roberts.
Fantastic battles going on here throughout the field, and a fantastic battle potentially heating up here for the race lead, as well as Ableton Perez all over the back bumper is trying to find a way around this 51 machine. And you also got the 31 in there as well. Look at the baby here throw a wrench into things here. Potentially, whoa, that was a big send to the inside by Roberts there in the 45. We're going to get back past the 66 and the 62 there. This is some crazy stuff we got here going on in Memphis. We're closing in here on the final 50 or so laps of the race.
One thing I'm wondering is how is that tire wear going to play into this? How are the tires going to play in? And, you know, you can make it on fuel, but do you really want to try to do that? I think is a bigger question.
Just slipped a little bit wide there, and
25 slipped, and the 31 will go through.
Mara's to the inside. They're still side by side. You're heading into 3 and 4. This could hurt Ableton Perez a little bit. 31 doesn't clear here. Don't hit the wall off of turn 4.
She stayed off it. Brousseau's still hanging on to 4th right now. there's 3 of the Inverness racing cars all right here. That's the 6, 62, and 93, and then the 11 is out of the race. Think now, if you're Ableton Perez, what you want to do if you're trying to gun for the win in this one, hope that Ramirez catches the 51, puts her out of line, and you can get underneath.
Yeah, definitely. Angel Perez needs to definitely just try and keep as close as you can to that 31 car for Ramirez, because if Ramirez can get underneath 51 of Martel and try and get their lap back, then that could really open up a door for the 25 if they are there ready to pounce. But we'll have to see what does end up happening. Ramirez, I think, is closing in to the 51 of Martel, but 25 Alberton Perez may be dropping back a little bit.
You know, caution coming out would mean a free pass, but if everyone chose to stay out on subsequent caution, that would be very interesting because there's a few lap cars in between the top 10 right now, and they would get waved around. So a lot of interesting dynamics are at play here. 46 dropped behind the 45, and she's starting to lose quite a bit of ground now. There's Isabella Smith, still leading the way in that chase for the money. Her next best competitor is right there, Naomi Davenport in 19th. Oh, 4 and 66 fighting it out for 6th. The 3 Inverness racing cars up here still battling for that 9th spot. Although Oberman's dropped back a little bit. Smith's still on good track, though, right now. So we're just under 50 laps to go.
Honestly, Isabel Smith could probably pretty much just kind of ride it out from here on out, because, like I said, the next closest competitor to that 15 is the 22.
Yeah.
And I'm mired back there, kind of off the pace a little bit after getting involved in an accident, which is definitely a tough break there. But still got about 50 or so laps to go in this race, and anything can still happen. It's not over until it's over. We've seen that plenty of times, especially here in the Continental Series, so definitely far from over this race is, I can tell you
Oh,
that.
absolutely. There's still definitely a chance that we get another yellow, or just we get another good battle for the lead here, too. There is lap traffic that might be at play before we end up reaching the end of the race. So that could be something interesting as we see Brosseau's drop back behind the 8 of Summers. Brosseau is really not matching her lap times anymore. She's struggling quite a bit, which I guess makes sense with that damage, but it's just not running the same as it was.
It's 51. Cindy Martel trying to pull away from both of the cars behind her. She's pulled a pretty solid gap back to the 25 Alberton Perez and the 31 of Ramirez. So try and hold on to that race lead. If she can keep this pace up, and I'd say she definitely potentially might have the opportunity here to cruise to victory. But like I said, we do potentially have lap traffic maybe up ahead, so that'll definitely be something to watch out for. But at least at the moment, that 51 probably does have the fastest car out here on the racetrack at the time being, but we'll have to see if she can bring it home here.
Martel's already got one win. She won just 2 weeks ago in Evergreen. Wouldn't it be something if Martel steps in this 51 car and becomes just the second driver to win twice in the season. We all thought she was gone. A lot of people thought she wasn't going to come back. She stepped into that 51 car kind of on a trial basis. I don't think it's a trial anymore.
I really don't think it is either.
Fight for 9th. That's Chestina and Schultz.
They too had kind of a moment there on turn 4.
Davis got by Brosseau for 5th. Ableton Perez has started slowly closing a little bit. Yeah, she's starting to close back in a little bit. I say that, but she lost a 10th that time, so...
That's not by.
This is how Martel won it at Evergreen, though. Didn't really do much. She won. She started up front. Kind of hung towards the middle of the field for most of the race. She looked fast throughout, but she didn't really take the lead until the very end, and she's kind of doing the same thing here. She looked fast all race. She still looks very fast. Battle for 8th now. Chestina underneath Tremblay-Vaudreuil. Here comes Vinny Schultz into this as well. Here comes Isabella Smith. This is a 5-car battle, pretty much.
Well, Smith's with a dive to the inside on Vinny Schultz, looking to try and into the top 10 here.
Anyone's starting to close in on the 51 here. There's Overman now underneath the 93. Smith is into the top 10, but for how long, I'm not sure. There's a battle of Isabella's right here. That's Isabella Smith and Izzy Overman.
They're in the 42 underneath the 62 of Schultz. I think
She is off the lead lap. She is not on the lead lap. The 16 of Azelhard is on pit road.
Arduino Ramirez is closing in here to the 51 of Marteau. Of course, 25 of Alberton Perez has kind of closed the gap into under a second, so...
Yeah,
I'm kind of wondering if maybe these guys were just saving their tires a little bit.
Maybe just a bit. Oh, there's a couple cars up there towards the wall. That's Moriyama and Yoko. Those are teammates. 31 is there on the 51. There and thereabouts. I don't think she's close enough to make any moves yet, but if I'm Martel, I'm going to be worried about that 31 maybe messing up my line and giving the 25 a chance to catch me.
Only one slip-up can definitely lose yourself quite a bit of time. So Martel definitely needs to try and do everything in her power to try and potentially fend off this 31 of Ramirez, but Ramirez is holding tough on the back of the 51, but was trying to pull away a little bit there. Had a good 1 and 2. Able to pull away there ever so slightly, but we got more cars coming into
55's on pit road.
Is this scheduled pit stop?
I don't believe it is. I believe that she's having issues. I believe that the 55 is having issues.
Cars coming down the pit lane here with potential issues. That's...
Oh, that 16 is not going.
Oh, no. This could be pretty big for Martel here as she slips up the racetrack.
This is going to be bad lap traffic here.
Oh, that's going to hold her up big time. Oh, no.
The 16 is kind of running. It looks like she's down a cylinder. Ellie, you got any word on what Hazelhart's got?
Yeah, she's got some major engine issues, and I think you would be right about maybe something's wrong in the internal parts yet. We haven't really gotten to see that yet, but we'll see.
Well, that's a tough break for Hazelhart, who is someone who was chasing that cut line. Was she particularly close? Not really, but chasing it enough to where I would say she's in the mix. She's minus 50 coming into this race. Well, now we're catching a little more up to pace lap traffic. There's the 7 of Munoz. 51's going to clear her fairly... she's not going to clear her yet. Now she'll get clear, I think. Yes. Oh, she slipped, though.
Oh, Munoz going to cross her over.
She slipped a little mid-corner, but the 7 couldn't do much. I think the 7's a bit...
Munoz has the power down the straight. Tried to dive there into 1 and 2.
That's kind of how we've seen it be done. You just kind of got to dive bomb. You just got to dive in there.
Get down to it here.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to pit again. I think we're done with pit stops. I think that the I believe that when that caution came out, they were just good on fuel. Lap cars have been cleared out for now. There's the 55 of Deborah Williams. She looks very fast. I think she might have had... They might have changed tires on that car when she came down pit road, so... Could be annoying. Brosseau's trying to hang on here. How well is she hanging on? I'm not really sure, but she's at least sitting 6th still. You know, where Brosseau stands right now, she will at least get those 3 points for leading the most laps. And the extra point for pole as well.
I mean, compared to earlier on in the day, probably not what they were looking for, but still looking like a pretty solid points day here.
Well,
for Reynolds Racing.
The thing with Brosseau is she pretty much needs wins if she's going to make the playoffs. She can't really point in.
Yeah, that's the thing, though.
Absolutely.
And if Martel wins, well, it's a wash. And the cut line doesn't change. Because Martel winning, she's already won so far, so if she's to win...
Ramirez got a good run there off of 2.
She did. If Martel wins, it doesn't change the cut line that much. It's still 15 winners. If the 25 wins, that's where it's interesting.
That's really going to shake things up. It's another good run here off of turn 2.
Not done anything yet, though. 16 to go when we cross the line next time. There's the 55. "31 is there on the 51, but she just can't get there. To the inside. She looked.
Took a peek there into 3 and 4 that time.
Wonder if she tried to do the same thing that Martel did to Brosseau earlier.
Could be. Potential lap traffic ahead as well. Oh, Martel slips wide.
31
Ramirez,
sticking.
I think is gonna get there.
Yeah, she's sticking.
She is.
She's stuck. Can Martel get back down before the 25 gets there? She's fighting.
She's fighting with Ramirez. That's probably not what you want to do. Finally going to see the position there, but oh, look at a crossover though.
She tries the crossover.
A bit loose off of 2. Really tried to put the power down there. Going to time it back to the inside. She is going to get that spot back on the... Well, she is going to get that spot back. It's probably not the best thing to be fighting with that 31. Still, all the more, that's going to draw the 25 in, and
yes, it is.
31 might try to cross the 51 back over.
And they're going to catch a lap car here. That's the 22 Davenport.
22 to deal with.
We reached our Windows 11 to go. Ellie, what's up with Deborah Williams?
Looks like the tire ended up going down, and that's what she pitted for earlier. We found that out.
Very interesting. 10 laps to go here now. Martel trying to hold on for her second win of the season and her second win in 3 races. Ableton Perez. We have a fight for 4th on our hands here. Here comes Brenda Davis. 54 and 45. '51 still trying to navigate. This is a lot of lap traffic.
51, yeah. They get to the inside here, the 38, but a 77 might hold her up here in the middle of the corner.
These are lead lap cars too. 51 slid a little bit. But she's got a pretty solid gap on Ableton Perez now. I'm not sure that 25 is going to be able to do anything unless the 51 gets majorly held up.
Ooh, that's not. Ooh.
And that might be it right there.
Around the outside of the 0.
Oh, the 31 just
Ramirez
absolutely
with a big
dive-bombed it.
That's going to shove 51 up the racetrack. Perez, though, still stuck behind the 38.
25 gets down.
Finally get to the inside. Ramirez still to the inside of Martel.
Ableton Perez is now on the inside of the 77.
To the inside of the 77. Looks like she might do so. See if she dives it in here to 1 and 2. Yes, she does. And this is probably the closest she's been in a while, for sure.
Well, she's got 4 laps to make something happen. Ramirez busts the path for through the 0 here. Martel trying to follow. 3 to go. Next time by. Ableton Perez is there. The 25 has closed up to the 51. Does she have enough to make a move? Deep into the corner. Two to go. Martel's driving that car for everything it's worth, and so is Ableton Perez. Two Honda teammates close. Here comes Ableton Perez with a big dive bomb. Oh, Martel slides
Martel
up.
got crossed up.
Here comes the 25.
Robertson Perez.
White flag. 1 lap to go.
Is Perez gonna send it? Yes,
Yes, she does, and she takes it. Last lap pass for Kathy Ableton Perez, and she gets by Martel. But does Martel have enough to cross over? Here she comes.
Oh,
They're going to be side by side. Coming to the start-finish line. Ableton Perez got it. What a finish from Memphis.
That.
What a
Wow.
finish. And what a drive from Kathy Ableton Perez to take the win there. But Sandy Martel did not let up. Isabella Smith wins the chase for the money. She gets the cash prize. And something that she will very much want after all that she's been through this year. But wow, what a finish.
What a crazy finish that was. That was absolutely incredible. And just what a drive from Ableton Perez there, especially towards the end. That was a fantastic final couple laps there. A great final rally to get by the 51 there on the last lap of the race, and definitely have to give credit to Martel as well. Even after getting past, fought all the way to the checkered flag, almost got back at Ableton Perez there. Just, man, what a race and what a finish here from Memphis.
0.081 seconds, the margin of victory. That is closest finish in Continental Series history right there. And the second closest in all points races in all of AWSCO. What a race. What a race that was. What did you think of that one, Caleb? How'd you feel about the race there?
That was a very, very fun race all the way to the end. We had a lot of great battlings out on the racetrack. Had a lot of great strategy in play as well all throughout the race. And yeah, like I said, to top it all off, a fantastic battle to the checkered flag between Alberton Perez and Martel, and that was absolutely fantastic here from Memphis. That was a very, very fun race.
And a great race. We saw a lot of strategy, and then at the end we saw that run to the end, and through lap traffic, it was a big, it was Ableton Perez who just squeaked out the win over Martel there. That one came down to the wire. All right, well, we're going to send it to the post-race studio, the FanDuel Fan Studio with Ellie and Rasha. You two, what do you have down there after that? What a fantastic finish we just had here from Memphis.
Yeah, that was unbelievable scenes at the end there. A cutthroat battle at the end of the FedEx 250 here at Memphis between two teammates, 25 of Kathy Ableton Perez and the 51 of Sandy Martel. Ableton Perez making that pass on the last lap to take the win there. Great battle between those two cars for the win. Looking at the rest of the field here, you can see a great run by the 12 of Jackie Kennedy. That's a playoff bubble driver right there with a top 5 run. Excellent racing, excellent driving by the 12 to take that finish, and another driver with a good top 5 there, the 54 of Brenda Davis. That's another drive. That's a driver that's been a little inconsistent, still technically in the playoff hunt, but kind of further back right now. And a really good result for that team as well. Ableton Perez leading just the one lap. That last lap pass being all that she needed to take the win there. Didn't need to lead any more laps than that. But she'll take the win, and with that, a ticket to the playoffs is hers. Well, Ellie, what did you think of that? That was a great battle for the win there between those two cars, having to weave their way around traffic and all those other drivers. That was a battle for the ages, I think.
Yeah, that was one of the more like adrenaline rush driving races we've seen here. That was kind of really impressive and just overall crazy to watch from Ableton Perez. She didn't even lead a single lap up to that last point. That was really something from her. I was really impressed with that, especially between Sandy Martel. I didn't really expect her to be up there until we just saw her start leading up there, and she was kind of cutting through the field. And I was really impressed with her driving as well. There was a good bit where I thought she was going to win it towards the last 15 laps. I thought that was amazing. I thought that was great.
Yeah, same. I mean, Martel looked very quick. Martel looked very quick in that last run, but Ableton Perez just able to keep up. I think those North Star cars had something else in that last run, and yeah, we mentioned how important it was to keep track with each other through the traffic there. Obviously with Martel losing touch at the very end there, let the 25 pass, but 25 had to be right there the entire time, just holding on to a within striking distance, I would say, of the 51.
Yeah.
Great race for the both of them, and great race for the 12 of Jackie Kennedy, I mentioned as well. Had a really good race, ran into the top 10 most of the way. Kind of came alive in that last run. Really,
yeah, she needed that, I think.
yeah, really needed that run. That's another driver that needed a run like that, and that'll really help things out for her in the playoffs. Given we've seen, I think, the trouble that some other drivers had. The eight kind of just had a bit of an okay run. The 11 obviously had that problem. Abby Buchanan did a really good job. I think she finished in the top 10 as well. We mentioned her being able to grab good results from anywhere, from any kind of starting position, and that's what she did again. Good run for the second Appalachia car. Been the quicker one, I think, in the last the last month or so. I wonder what kind of implications that'll have in the playoff hunt, given how good Buchanan was. Obviously Reynolds has a big points cushion, but there's still enough racing left to go where the 95 and 59 might end up trading positions, I think, in the point standings.
Yeah, and I think this race was pretty big for the whole point standings in general. This, especially now with a win on Ableton Perez's belt.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be. We'll get to see the cutoff graph very soon. I think it's going to be very interesting to look at once that gets put out.
Not to mention, of course, the 99 of Willis Callaway had problems early on. I think an engine went out on her car very early on. That was a last place finish for the RGB Racing Toyota, and that'll most definitely affect the playoff hunt as well. Willis Callaway coming in 19 clear of the line, almost certainly going to be below the cut line after this.
Definitely.
After this race, so I think we can probably move Buchanan up. I think Kennedy's an interesting one. I think, well, she's past Willis Callaway, but with the line moving up, I don't think she's going to go from first out to first out, I think, again. But that's gonna make that top line even stricter now, with just one car really that can realistically make it on points that isn't Vinny Schultz onwards. That isn't us. I should say Carl Reynolds onwards. It'll take it's gonna take a big collapse from Reynolds, I think, for it to really matter, to make this points battle really matter. I think otherwise, I think this is just right now. I feel like it's Abby Buchanan's to lose.
Yeah.
But I think that can be lost very easily, given how many winners we've had this season.
Yes, we have had a lot of winners by now. It's getting to the point where most of the playoff above the cut line is just people with wins, other than 4 drivers now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Moriyama still good, still well good. Schultz had a good enough run to where she'll have a good enough cushion, obviously. But then you get to the rest of the field. Abby Buchanan, Jackie Kennedy, Karina Willis-Callaway, all of these drivers are going to start to have to look at winning, I think, now.
Yeah.
This is getting, I think, too stringent now, with the amount of races left, with the nature of these races coming up. if you look at the rest of the schedule, we have let me check the schedule actually. I believe is it New Hampshire coming up? Or am I hallucinating that race? I saw a racetrack that was just over a mile, and I thought that was New Hampshire. Yes, it is. It is New Hampshire. It's New Hampshire in Chicagoland. New Hampshire is a short-ish track. It's a mile oval, but it's a flat one that races a lot like a short track sometimes. Chicagoland is a big 1.5 mile speedway, and it's going to race insane, and it's going to be pretty hectic. That one's gonna be wide open, I think. You get to Surrey. That's a brand new race. That's a brand new racetrack for pretty much everyone here. Nobody really knows how that's gonna go. So really, who knows who knows what to expect from that race? That's gonna be a wild card. IRP is another short track. Iowa's another short track. Richmond's another short track. Lots more short tracks coming up. But then you have our two last races, Darlington and Pensacola, complete wild cards, I think. Those races are going to be tests of driver and team might. It's going to be tricky, and at this point, I think if you're Moriyama or Schultz, I think... No, I'm just going to say, if you're Moriyama, I think you might be fine. But there's a good chance we have 3 extra winners, I think, coming to this stretch now.
Oh yeah, I think points are kind of points don't matter as much anymore after this point. It's kind of getting to the point where a couple more races now, and there's going to be nobody with points above the cut line, I think. And we just got the new cut graphic.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. I mean, points are obviously, with the way the playoffs work in AWSCO, it won't matter. Missing the playoffs will matter for contending for the championship, but outside of, I believe, the final 4 cars, I believe everyone else that's eliminated will filter back down to the regular season points. So, effectively, in a full, it remains a full season. Format for pretty much everyone, regardless of playoffs or not. So that's another dimension to look at. If you're a Final 4 driver, it'll matter obviously, but if you're not, then it won't matter as much basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll definitely be important for Cup teams considering for their considerations and all that stuff. The playoffs tend to be a little bit chaotic, so I'd say that's a good balance. I think it provides a good balance for the between the chaos of a playoff format and also the consistency based focus of a full season format. All right, with that, I believe we'll be able to hand it to Echo very soon here. Might give her just a moment to get ready. Oh, looks like she's given a signal to be ready, so we'll hand it over now to Echo. We'll wrap up the broadcast for everyone. Thank you everyone from the studio. We'll see you guys next time around.
Yeah, and a very, very fun race here from Memphis Motorsports Park, and the FedEx 250. Kathy Ableton Perez takes home the victory. A surprising win for Ableton Perez in a battle between 2 teammates. Ableton Perez just able to take the checkered flag in front. All right, well on Thursday we'll be back with Cup Series racing from Rio de Janeiro. Next week, it's the Continental Series from New Hampshire and the Cup Series from the Dekra Lausitz Ring in Germany. So we hope to see you there for that. All right. With that being said, I'm Echo on behalf of Ali, Rasha, and Caleb. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Have a